thing that I remember the most about my wedding was when we got in the car leaving and we kind of took a deep breath and we're like, wow, we're married now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so
it's powerful.
I'm so happy that I didn't have to pay for it for years thereafter because I ran up a bunch of debt to do it.
Most people overspend on their wedding, meaning they spend more than they should in relation to their income, not how nice the wedding is. Some people say, well, you should never spend that much on a wedding. It doesn't matter if you have $10 billion if you spend $100,000 on a wedding, okay? It doesn't matter. So there's nothing wrong with it's not illegal, it's not immoral to have a $100,000 wedding. That's not the issue. The issue is in relation to your net worth and your income, what you should spend. But I'll give that as a cap. You would never spend, ever, more than half your annual income. Ever. That's a lot. And that's probably too much. But that's the most you would ever consider. So you make $65,000, that's $32,500. So, what would I spend if I was in that situation? $25,000 max. And that's if you have the cash. If you don't have the cash, then you have a different limitation, and you're limited to the cash that you can put up. You can have a fine wedding for $10,000. A fine wedding. I've been to a lot of them that were in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. And you can do all you want to do for that. And there is no correlation, by the way, between the success of the marriage and the size of the wedding. There's no correlation between the size of the ring and the success of the marriage.
My goal was buy a big enough ring that that my wife was happy when she received it, and it would also look great on her finger when the sky's the limit on how much success we could have. So, it was a little bit of a stretch, but I didn't get so crazy that, I bought some Kardashian type ring, but it was definitely something I think my wife still loves her ring.
I did the same thing, and oftentimes when we're driving around and we're on a date night or something, and if it's like pretty or whatever, I'll say, hey, you still love your ring? And she'll always say yes. And that makes me feel so good that the decision I was able to make, way back when, still works. It's still something that makes her happy. It's still something that's special. I am not of the opinion it makes sense to go break the bank. I don't think you have to go mortgage your house or pull all your money out of savings in order to do that. That would not be setting yourself up on sound financial footing. And that makes me think of the wedding. How much should you spend on a wedding? That's a much harder one because there are so many things that come into that with family expectations and all that sort of thing. What I would encourage you to do, and this is what I said to both of our families, hey, we're happy to do the wedding and we'll do this, but we're unwilling to go into debt for the wedding. Meaning we're unwilling to go borrow a bunch of money, have this one night that frankly flies by. It's awesome, but it flies by, and I don't even know if I got to eat food, and it's just like this big blur. And I remember the thing that I remember the most about my wedding was when we got in the car leaving, and we kind of took a deep breath, and we're like, wow, we're married now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so
it's powerful.
I'm so happy that I didn't have to pay for it for years thereafter because I ran up a bunch of debt to do it.
We want to be more thoughtful of that before we even answer this question. And so
so purpose of the wedding day. Go for it.
Yeah, the purpose is to show a picture of just who we are as a couple. And the marriage is a picture of God's love for us as a church. We want to display the gospel to the world. And so we want to say this is a covenant relationship between a man and a woman, that we are yoking ourselves together. We're becoming one flesh with each other for as long as we both shall live. It's a picture of how much God loves us, and he gives us this gift of marriage. And so before you worry about this, you want to know, why are we getting married, and then what's the purpose of our wedding day?
Perfect. So principle number one, make sure you spend more time worrying about fulfilling the picture of what God's purpose is for a marriage, and you do the pictures that you're going to have from your wedding. Right? Because you see, again and again, people make all kinds of mistakes, is that they emphasize on the societal phenomena. We rehearse every word we're going to see at a wedding, and we speak a lot of careless words in our marriage, right? We spend a lot of money putting a precious jewel on a woman's finger, and we don't treat our wives as precious possessions right there on our own hand. And so whatever you spend on a wedding, make sure that you spend more time focusing on the marriage,